Hi, this is Miss Calas, and I am going to be doing a lesson plan on how to be a good friend. So basically, the learning standards that the learning objectives that the students will be doing is students will be able to describe what it means to be a good friend. So when we do the introduction, I want to ask students like, what does it mean to be a good friend? So in kinder, they would write one sentence and then basically draw a picture of what a good friend does. And then, so what I would want to do is write down on the whiteboard, like what are some ways that a friend shows that they're a good friend. Some of the things that they could mention is they're nice to each other, they share, they play with them. So we would all write, like as a whole group, we would write down the different meanings of what a good friend is. And so I would record their ideas on the board or on our chart paper, prompting students to share examples as much as possible. So I feel that that would be the introduction of the lesson, because it's very important for students to understand what a good friend is. So after that, the students will all share together. And what I like to do is I like to do like pair share. So like one, like I usually, they could choose a partner or I choose a partner for them. And one is the peanut butter, one is the jelly. So they like to do that. So like peanut butter, share to your jelly what a good friend is. And so they can share with each other. So basically, after we did the whole group, so the independent uh, work that they would have to do is basically get a piece of paper. They would get a paper with lines, and then on the top they would have, the blank part. And then so basically they would write a sentence. They can choose one of the ideas that they gave me about a good friend. So for example, if they said, what is a good friend? Okay, a good friend is somebody that plays with me. So because they're kinder, they're barely learning how to write, so they would get their paper and they would write, a friend plays with me. So they would write a sentence, a friend plays with me, and then they would have to illustrate on the paper themselves and a friend that he or she likes to play with. And then so I would give them about 10 15 minutes for them to write their own sentence and draw their picture, their illustration. So then after they finish drawing themselves and their friend, explaining why they're a good friend, I would obviously go around and be checking on what they're doing. And then the last part that I want them to do is share. So I want them to share with their partner, the peanut butter and jelly, going back to peanut butter and jelly. And then after that, I would want them to, voluntarily go on to the front of the class, and if they want to share what they wrote. So basically, it gives everybody, all the students, a chance to understand like what a good friend is, and then show examples of, what a good friend is. So basically, at the end, I would collect all the papers, and it's like my assessment to see if they understood the objective. Did they write the sentences, going back to the characteristics of what a good friend is, and drawing the illustration, that goes back to. So if they said my friend plays with me, they have to draw somebody they play with. If they wrote about my friend is nice to me, then they can, draw something that, something nice that they're doing, like sharing something. So basically that would be my lesson plan that I would give to the students, that talks about how to be a good friend. Thank you.